Hi, this is Stan Bush.
Hi, this is Stephanie Calvert.
This is John Payne.
This is Jack Hughes.
Hi, I'm Carrie Stevens.
Hey everybody, this is Prescott Niles.
Hello, I'm Kofi Baker.
And you're listening to Play That Rock and Roll.
And then the third guy I got to ask about is a figure that, again, you know, some people, at least nowadays, sadly, might not, you know, have the name recognition of George Martin, you know, the producer for the Beatles, you know, such a legendary figure, such a grandfather, godfather over rock and roll, because, you know, the Beatles really jump-started it all. You know, being in the presence of that guy, what were the things that you learned when you talked to him, and what was it like interacting with that guy? Because now we're talking very late in his life, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably the highlight of my career, because that's like true rock royalty. I mean, that's just one step away from the Beatles, really.
Right.
You know? And I reckon that was probably one of the most nerve-wracking sort of few weeks before interviews I did, because what do you ask a guy who's probably been asked every single question in the book over the years, you know?
Right.
Like I said, it was in 2002 when I interviewed him, so he's already in his later part of his career. So I remember spending 3 weeks just going through everything I could find on the Beatles and George Martin and that. And eventually I found, you know, I eventually put together some great questions. And mind you, I have to say to you, there was about 100 journalists on the list who were you know, going to be interviewing him. And he went through the whole list of them, and he handpicked 20. And one of the 20 was me. And I got told this, you know, so he obviously did a lot of background checking on stuff. So, you know, I spent half an hour with him and Lady Martin in this upmarket hotel in Melbourne. And it was truly wonderful. I mean, he was just really, you know, made a cup of tea, and I was happy to talk about the Beatles and anything. I mean, I remember he's telling me his favourite guitar player was Jeff Beck. Absolutely loved working with Jeff Beck. He mentioned to me about, you know, the fallout with John Lennon, you know, that period, and about Paul McCartney, about making the Revolver album, and just really wonderful things, you know. And you know, one of the things he said that was pretty much a prediction, and kindly predicted, was he said that the music industry was heading towards perdition, you know, basically heading in the bad state. And that was 20 years ago, and look at it now, you know, it's really gone in the bad state. So truly one of the, you know, highlights of my career is to have that opportunity to have spent half an hour with such a true legend.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the appeal of your book, is that it's such a wide-ranging of not just, you know, status, not just levels of status in rock and roll, but like the era. You talk about someone who goes back all the way with the Beatles, and then you're talking about some very current artists, you know, as well. I guess I might have touched on it already, but of all the stories you've included in the book, and you don't have to tell the story and give it away, but what would you say was the story that is your favorite? What was the one you were most excited to write for the book?
It's a really good one, because they're all some of my favourites. Like picking out your best child,
Yeah.
they're all favourite. It's really hard, I suppose. Look, I think because it's the Sir George Martin one would obviously be one of them, right?